What is the state of consciousness that stems from a misunderstanding of your true nature when you worry? You are operating from a limited, finite sense of self. You are identifying with your physical body and your personal history, forgetting that you're not being that you truly are. But I tell you now, you are not your body. You are not your personal history. You are not even the sum of your thoughts and emotions. You are the awareness in which all these experiences arise. You are the infinite creative power of the universe, expressing itself as a human being. When you truly understand, this worry becomes impossible. For how can the infinite creative power of the universe worry about anything? How can God, which you are, be concerned about solving a problem? Let us delve deeper into this concept. The world you see around you is not the cause of your experience, but the effect. It is the outpatient of your states of consciousness. Every circumstance in your life, every challenge you face, is a reflection of your inner world. Therefore, when you worry about a problem, you are actually giving power to that problem. You are affirming its reality in your consciousness, and thus in your experience. But when you rest in the knowledge that God, the God within you, will solve it, you are aligning yourself with the created power of the universe. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful optimism. This is a fundamental law of consciousness, just as the seed contains within it the pattern of the fully grown plant. Your consciousness contains within it the solution to every problem you could ever face. When you say God will solve it, you are not advocating responsibility or passively waiting for some external force to intervene. You are declaring your alignment with the infinite intelligence within you. You are acknowledging that the power that created the universe is fully capable of handling whatever situation you are facing. Now, some of you might be thinking, but never have real problems. How can I not worry? I understand this concern. The challenges of life can seem overwhelming when viewed from a limited perspective. But I ask you to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on the problem, focus on the state of consciousness where the problem is already solved. This is what I mean when I say God will solve it. You are moving your attention from the problem to the solution, from the question to the answer. Imagine for a moment that your problem, whatever it may be, is already solved. How would you? What would your mental state be? This feeling, this state of consciousness, is the key to allowing God to solve your problem. You see, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you live from the end, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You are stepping into the consciousness of the version of you for whom the problem is already solved. This is not pretend, so self-deception. This is the use of your imagination, which is God in action within you. Imagination is not a separate part of you. It is the very essence of your being. It is creative power through which all things are possible. When you imagine the solution, when you feel the relief and gratitude of your problem being solved, you are literally reshaping the substance of the universe. You are setting in motion the forces that will bring about the solution in your physical reality. Now let us address a common misunderstanding about this principle. Some might think that saying God will solve it means doing nothing, simply waiting for a solution to magically appear. But this is not the case at all. When you truly align yourself with the consciousness of the solution, you will be inspired to take what I call the right action. This action will not feel like struggle or effort. It will feel natural, even inevitable. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time, saying the right words, meeting the right people. This is because you are no longer operating from the limited perspective of the problem. You are from the expanded consciousness of the solution. Your actions are no longer driven by fear or worry, but by inspiration and inner guidance. Remember, the outer world is dead. It has no power to create or to change. All creation happens first in consciousness. Your job is not to manipulate the outer world, but to change your inner world. As you change within, the outer must conform. Let us now explore the concept of faith in relation to God will solve it. Faith is not. Believe it's something outside of yourself. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is annoying beyond physical evidence. When you have true faith that God will solve your problem, you are not hoping for a future event. You are acknowledging a present fact. You are recognizing that in the realm of pure consciousness where all creation takes place, your problem is already solved. This kind of faith, mountains, it transforms the very fabric of your reality. For when you have absolute faith that God will solve it, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You are becoming one with the solution now. Some of you might be wondering about the role of time in this process. You might be thinking, when will God solve my problem? But I tell you now, time is an illusion of the physical world. In the realm of consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no time. Your desire is fulfilled the moment you assume, the feeling of the wish fulfilled with conviction. The time it takes for this to appear in your physical reality is determined by your faith and your persistence in the assumed state. So do not concern yourself with when or how God will solve your problem. Your job is to assume the state of the wish fulfilled, to live from the end, to embody the consciousness of the solution. How and when will take care of themselves. Let us now address the concept of surrender in relation to God will solve it. Surrender is not about giving up or admitting defeat. It is about releasing your attachment to how things should be and trusting in the higher intelligence of the universe. When you truly surrender your problem to God, you are not washing your hands of it. You are acknowledging that the infinite intelligence within you, which created the universe, is fully capable of handling whatever situation you are facing you. This surrender allows you to step out of the limited perspective of the problem and into the expanded consciousness of the solution. It frees you from the burden of trying to figure everything out with your finite mind, allowing the infinite intelligence of the universe to work through you. Remember, worry is a form of negative creation. When you worry, you are using to create what you do not want. But when you surrender your problem to God, saying with conviction, God will solve it, you are using your imagination constructively. You are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. Now let us explore the concept of gratitude in relation to God. Solve it. Gratitude is not just a polite sentiment. It is a powerful creative force. When you are truly grateful, you are acknowledging the presence of your desire in your life. You are affirming its reality even before it manifests in the physical realm. So as you trust that God will solve your problem, cultivate a deep sense of. Be thankful not just for what you can see and touch, but for the unseen solution that is even now unfolding in your life. Give thanks for the wisdom that guides you, the love that surrounds you, and the power that resides within you. This gratitude puts you in a state of receptivity. It opens you to receive the solution that God is providing. It aligns you with the abundance of the universe. Practice gratitude, not from a place of lack hoping to receive, but from a place of fullness, knowing you already have. Let us now address the concept. The touch might seem contradictory to what we've discussed about faith and gratitude, but it's actually covenantary. The attachment doesn't mean not caring about the solution to your problem. It means releasing your anxious attachment to how or when it will manifest. When you're anxiously attached to the outcome, you're actually affirming the presence of the problem. You're saying, I need the solution because I have this problem. This state of consciousness keeps the problem alive in your experience. True detachment comes from the deep, knowing that God has already solved your problem in consciousness, and therefore it must manifest in your physical reality. It's a state of calm certainty, of knowing the law is at work even when you can't see the evidence yet. This detachment allows you to truly live. The end. You're not waiting for something to happen. You're simply being who you are, a person for whom the problem is already solved. This state of being is far more powerful than any amount of doing or trying. Now let us discuss the concept of revision. Revision is a powerful tool in allowing God to solve your problems each night. Before you sleep, review the events of your day, but do not review them as they appear to your senses. Revise them to align with the state of your problem being solved. If you encounter challenges related to your problem during the day, revise them. See them as stepping stones towards the solution. If you had negative thoughts, so emotions about your problem then. See yourself responding with faith and confidence. Knowing that God is solving it, you are not denying what happened. You are actively reshaping your memory and thus your future. Remember, your memories are not fixed. They are fluid, constantly being reconstructed. By consciously revising your memories, you are literally reread. As you change your past in your imagination, you change the trajectory of your future. Let us now explore the concept of persistence. Trusting that God will solve your problem is not a one-time event. It is a continuous choice. You must persist in this state of faith and surrender even when the outer world shows no sign of change. This persistence is what distinguishes those who successfully manifest their desires from those who do not. Think of it like this. When you move to a new home, you don't wake up each morning wondering where you are. You naturally assume your new surroundings. This is how you must be with your faith that God will solve your problem. It should become your new normal, your new home state. But what if you falter? What if you find yourself stepping back into worrying doubt? Do not despair. Simply acknowledge it and return to your state of faith and surrender. Remember, you are breaking lifelong habits of thought and feeling. It takes practice. Patient with yourself, but persist. Now let us address the concept of everyone. As you pushed out, this principle states that everyone in your world is a reflection of your consciousness. The way people treat you, the opportunities that come your way, even a seemingly random events in your life, or reflections of your state of being. This understanding brings with it that great responsibility. It means that if you want to experience a world where your problems are solved, you must first embody that state within yourself. As you trust that God will solve your problems, you will naturally see others differently, and they will respond differently to you. During this process of trusting God to solve your problems, be aware of how you perceive others. Our perceptions align with the reality of your problem being solved. If not, consciously choose to see others in a way that supports your faith. See them as helpful, supportive, playing their perfect part in the unfolding of solution. Remember, you are not manipulating others. You are simply aligning your perception with your desired reality, and others will naturally conform to this new perception. Let us now delve into the concept of the law assumption. This law states that if you assume a state and persist in it, it must become your reality. When you assume the state of your problem being solved, when you live from the consciousness of God will solve it, you are setting in motion the forces that will bring this assumption into your physical reality. This is not about forcing or manipulating external circumstances. It's about aligning yourself with the reality where your problem is already solved. When you truly assume this state, you're not trying to make something happen. You're experiencing the state of it already being done. Imagine you have a friend who lives in another city. When you think of this friend, you don't visualize them or affirm their existence. You simply know they exist. This is the kind of knowing you must have about to your problem. It should be as real and as natural to you as the existence of your distant friend. This state of knowing, of living from the end, is what truly activates the law of assumption. It aligns your entire being, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions with the reality of your problem being solved, and in this alignment, miracles happen. Now, let us address the role of emotion in this process. Emotion is crucial. It is the fuel that gives life to your assumption when you assume the state of your problem being solved. You must feel the reality of it. You must experience the relief, the joy, the gratitude of the solution. But here's a key point. These emotions should not be intense, or they should be natural calm, the kind of quiet joy you feel when you think of something you already possess. Remember, you, not trying to convince yourself of something. You are simply acknowledging what is already true in your consciousness. Let us now explore the concept of the Sabbath. The Sabbath, in this context, is not about a particular day of the week, but about a state of mind. It is a state of complete rest from all effort. A state of knowing that your work is done in the process of allowing God to solve your problem. Sabbath state is crucial. It is the state of total acceptance of the solution as an accomplished fact. In this state, you no longer feel the need to make the solution happen because you know it is already done. Practice entering the Sabbath state. After you've done your imaginative work, after you've assumed the feeling of your problem being solved consciously and your state of rest, release all. All need to make it happen. And know that God is at work and your only task now is to rest in the certainty, the solution. Now let us address the concept of divine timing. Often when we are facing a problem, we want an immediate solution. We want God to solve it right now. But remember, in the realm of pure consciousness, there is no time. Your problem is already solved the moment you assume the state of the solution with conviction. The time it takes for the solution to appear in your physical reality is determined by divine timing. This is not about some external force making you wait. It's about the perfect holding of events that will bring about your solution in the most harmonious way. Trust in this divine timing. Know that the solution is already yours in consciousness, and it will manifest in your physical reality at the perfect moment. Your job is not to worry about when or how, but to maintain your faith and live from the end. Let us now explore the concept of your divine nature. When I say God will solve it, I am not referring to an external deity. I am referring to the God within you, the divine created power. That is your very essence. You are not a mere human being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are God individualized, the infinite creative power of the universe expressing itself as you. When you truly understand this, you realize that there is no problem too big for you to handle. There is no charge that God cannot solve because you are that God. The power that created the universe resides within you, and it is fully capable of solving whatever problem you are facing. Now let us address the concept of resistance. When you are facing a problem, it is natural to feel resistance. You want to push against the problem to fight it, to overcome it. But this resistance often keeps the problem in place. Remember, what you resist persists. When you resist a problem, you are giving it your energy and attention. You are affirming its reality in your consciousness. Instead of resisting your problem, practice acceptance. This doesn't mean you like the program or want it to continue. It means you accept that in this moment, this is what is. Then, from this place of acceptance, you can more easily shift into the consciousness of the solution. Let us now explore the concept of your inner conversations. You're in A. The thoughts you think and the words you speak to yourself are shaping your reality. When you're constantly thinking and talking about your problem, you're reinforcing its existence in your experience. Start paying attention to your inner conversations. Are they aligned with the state of your problem being solved? Or are they keeping you stuck in the consciousness of the problem? Practice having inner conversations that align with the solution. Speak to yourself as if your problem is already solved. Have imagined conversations with others where you discuss the wonderful resolution of your situation. These inner conversations are powerful creative forces that shape your reality. Now let us address the concept of your self-concept. Your self-concept. The way you see yourself plays a crucial role in our land. Got to solve your problems. If you see yourself as someone who is always struggling, always facing problems, that's the reality you'll create. But if you see yourself as someone who is divinely guided and supported, for whom solutions come easily, that's the reality of experience. Work on upgrading your self-concept. See yourself as someone who naturally attracts divine solutions. Any challenge. Remember, you are not changing who you are. You are simply aligning with your true divine nature, recognizing the God within you that is fully capable of solving any problem. Let us now explore the concept of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful tool in allowing God to solve your problems. Often our problems are tied to resentments, grudges, or unforgiveness towards ourselves or others. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning hurtful behavior. It means releasing the emotional charge of past, so they no longer control you. As you forgive yourself and others, you clear the path for divine solutions to flow into your life. Practice forgiveness daily. Forgive yourself for past mistakes. Forgive others for perceived wrongs. As you do this, you'll find that solutions to your problems come more easily and naturally. Now let us delve deeper into the concept of living in the end. When you say God will solve it, you are not hoping for a future event. You are acknowledging a present fact in the realm of imagination, where all creation takes place. Your problem is already solved. Living in the end means experiencing your desire as a present fact, not a future possibility. It's about feeling the relief, the joy, the gratitude of your problem being solved right now in this moment. This state of consciousness collapses time and brings your desire into the present moment, making its manifestation inevitable. Remember, in the realm of imagination, there is no time. Your desire is fulfilled the moment you assume the feeling of its fulfillment. With conviction, the time it takes for this to appear in your physical reality is determined by your faith and your persistence in the assumed state. Let us now address the concept of the law of reversed effort. This law states that the harder you try to achieve something, the more you push it away. This is why so many people struggle to solve their problems. They're trying too hard, and in that effort they are actually affirming the presence of the problem. Instead of striving and struggling, relax into the knowing that God will solve it. Release all effort. You are not trying to solve the problem. You are simply acknowledging the solution that is already using consciousness. This state of effortless acceptance is far more powerful than any amount of trying or struggling. No. Let us explore the concept of the bridge of incidents. When you assume the state of your problem being solved, a series of events is set in motion to bring about the manifestation of your desire. This series of events is called of incidents. The key here is to trust the bridge. You don't need to know how God will solve your problem. Your job is simply to maintain your assumption and allow the bridge to unfold naturally. Each event, each encounter, each seeming coincidence is a part of this bridge, leading you to the full manifestation of your solved problem. Let's address the concept of dimensional shifting. This is the idea that for every possible, there is a version of you already experiencing it, your task. In allowing God to solve your problem is not to create something new, but to shift your consciousness to align with conversion of you for whom the problem is already solved. Practice speaking from the perspective of the you who has already experienced the solution. How would that version of you think? How would they feel? What decisions would they make? Align yourself with this version of you, and you will naturally shift into the reality where your problem is solved now. Let us delve into the power of your self-talk. Your self-talk is not just idle chattering your mind, it's a declaration to the universe. The way you speak to yourself about your problems and their solutions is shaping your reality. Stop paying attention to. Talk, are you constantly affirming the presence of your problem? Or are you speaking as if the solution is already yours? Choose your words consciously. Speak as if God has already solved your problem. Use phrases. I am so grateful that this situation has been resolved instead of. Hope this problem will be solved. Let us explore the concept of non-resistance once more. Non-resistance doesn't mean being passive or accepting undesirable circumstances. It means not giving your problem any more power through your resistance to it. When you fight against it, you are actually energizing it. You are giving it your attention and your emotional energy. Instead, practice non-resistance. Acknowledge the problem with our judgment, then shift your attention to the state of the solution. Now let us address the concept of your point of power. Your point of is always in the present moment. It's not in the past. Where the problem might have originated, it's not in the future where you hope the solution will come. It's right here, right now. In this present moment, you have the power to choose your state of consciousness. You have the power to align yourself with the reality where God has already solved your problem. Use this point of power wisely. Choose thoughts, feelings, and actions that align with the solution, not the problem. Let us delve into the concept of your I am. Your I am is your true self, the God within you. It is the creative power through which all things are possible. When you say I am, you are invoking this created power. Be very careful with what you attach to your I am. I am struggling with this problem. Creates a very different reality than IA. Grateful for the divine solution to this situation. Choose your I am statements wisely. Finite are powerful created forces. Now let us explore the concept of your imagination once more. Your imagination is not mere fantasy or daydreaming. It is God in action within you. It is the creative power through which all things are made. When you use your imagination to experience the solution to your problem, you are literally reshaping the substance of the universe. You are impressing upon your subconscious mind the reality of the solution. And your subconscious mind must then work to bring this impressed image into your physical experience. Let us address the concept of detachment once again. A detachment doesn't mean not caring about the solution to your problem. It means releasing your anxious attachment to how or when it will manifest. When you're anxiously attached to the outcome, you are actually affirming the presence of the problem. You are saying, I need this solution because I have this problem. This state of consciousness keeps the problem alive in your experience. True detachment comes from the deep, knowing that God has already solved your problem in consciousness, and therefore it must manifest in your physical reality. It's a state of calm certainty of knowing the law is at work, even when you can't see the evidence yet. Explore the concept of your state of consciousness. Your state of consciousness is the sum total of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in any given moment. It is the lens through which you perceive and interact with reality. When you say God will solve it, you are choosing to occupy a state of consciousness where the solution is already a fact. This state of consciousness then shapes your perception and your experience of reality. Remember, you are not trying to change the outer world, you are changing your state of consciousness. And as you do, the outer world must conform to match this new real state. This addressed the concept of your created power once more. You are not a powerless being at the mercy of external circumstances. You are a created being made in the image and likeness of God. The power that created the universe resides within you. When you say God will solve it, you are acknowledging this creative power within you, are aligning yourself with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates the cosmos. Trust in this power. Have faith in your ability to create the reality you desire. Let us explore the concept of your divine timing once again. Divine timing is not about some external force making you wait for your solution. It's about the perfect unfolding of events that will bring about your solution in the most harmonious way. Trust in this divine timing. Know that the solution is already yours in consciousness, and it will manifest in your physical reality at the perfect moment. Your job is not to worry about when or how, but to maintain your faith and live from the end. Let us address the concept of your inner knowing. Beyond your emotions, there is a deep inner knowing within you. This is the voice of God, the infinite intelligence that knows exactly how to solve your problem. Learn to listen to this inner knowing. It often speaks in subtle ways. A quiet nudge, a sudden inspiration, a feeling of peace. As you trust this inner knowing, you'll find yourself naturally guided towards the solution to your problem. Now let us explore the concept of your divine nature once more. You are not separate from God. You are an individualized expression of God. The power that created the universe is not outside of you. Is you. When you truly understand this, you realize that there is no problem too big for you to handle. There is no charge that God cannot solve, because you are that God. The power that created the universe resides within you, as it is fully capable of solving whatever problem you are facing. In conclusion, remember that God will solve it is not a passive statement of hope. It is a powerful declaration of your alignment with the creative forces of the universe. It is an acknowledgement of your true divine nature and your inherent ability to create the reality you desire. Trust in this truth. Have faith in the God within you live from the state of your problem being solved, and watch as your outer world reshapes itself to match your inner state, for truly, with God, all things are possible. There is a moment when the unseen becomes seen, when the formless takes form, and what was once only imagined stands before you in full reality. That moment is now the promise you have held in the depths of your consciousness is on the verge of unfolding. The seed planted in the soil of your mind, watered by your faith and nurtured by your unwavering belief, is pushing through into the visible world. You do not need to beg or struggle, for all things already exist in the realm of the unseen. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are only to align yourself with that which is already yours. The very fact that you have desired it is proof that it is meant for you. Your longing is not a sign of lack, but a whisper from the infinite calling you to claim what is already prepared. To receive, you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must walk in the conviction that your miracle is not something to come, but something already present. Do not concern yourself with the how or when. These are not yours to manage. The bridge of incidents will unfold naturally, leading you to the very thing your heart has known to be true. The world will bend itself to reflect your inner state, and as you persist in the knowing, reality will conform to the certainty of your imagination. The promise has never been far from you. It is not outside of you. It is within you, waiting only for your recognition. The moment you fully accept it as done, the world will bear witness to its truth. The unseen will take shape, the impossible will become inevitable, and your miracle will no longer be a dream, but your living experience the moment you accept that. Finished, then all you seek is already yours. You step into the flow of the inevitable. You no longer struggle, no longer seek validation from the world, no longer. Look outside yourself for proof. The proof is within you in the deep and sacred, knowing that what you have imagined is not separate from you. It is you. The world you experience is simply the outpicturing of your inner state, and as you shift inwardly, the outermost. Follow, there's no power outside of you that grants or withholds. You are the operant power, the only creator in your world. What you assume is true hardens into fact. Every experience, every event, every so-called coincidence is merely the shadow of your inner consciousness taking. Nothing happens by chance. Nothing is random. There is an exact correspondence between the state you occupy within and the world you see. Doubt. So then what does it mean to be ready for your miracle? It means to walk as though you have already received it. It means to feel with certainty the joy, the relief, the gratitude of having it. Now do not wait for the evidence before you believe. Belief is the cause and evidence, the effect. To say I will believe it when I see it is to put the cart before the horse, for all things are first seen within, before they are ever seen without. You must persist in this knowing even when the outer world seems to contradict it. When doubts arise, do not entertain them as if they have power. Acknowledge them, but do not dwell on them. They are merely remnants of the old, the fading echoes of a past assumption. They hold no power unless you choose to give them life. Every great manifestation in history, every so-called miracle, has followed this exact pattern. Those who, so because they first knew within themselves that it was already so, they did not waver, did not question, did not wait for external confirmation. They assumed the feeling of their wish fulfilled and rested in that assumption, allowing the unseen to take shape. Your miracle is not far. It is not something distant, not something you must struggle for. It is already yours, waiting for you to claim it. The only question is, are you willing to accept it now? Are you willing to cast aside doubt, fear, and the illusion of time, and instead step fully into the certainty of your desire? Are you willing to assume that it is done even before the world has conformed to show you its truth? You do not need to manipulate circumstances to force things into place to figure out how your miracle will come to be. The means are not yours to determine. Your only task is to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. When you do this, the bridge of incidents will unfold before you in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. People, events, and circumstances will rearrange themselves to bring your assumption into reality. For the world is but a mirror, reflecting back the state you dwell in most persistently. Think not of your miracle as something that must be earned. It is already given, already complete the moment you conceived it. It was finished. Your task is only to accept it, to live in the end, to feel the reality of it now, and to refuse to entertain anything that contradicts this truth. If you seek healing, do not wait to feel whole. Assume that you are already healed, that your body is already renewed, and let your consciousness dwell in that state. If you seek abundance, do not act from a place of lack. Walk as though wealth already surrounds you, as though you are already provided for in every way. If you seek love, do not look outward for validation. Know that love is already yours, that you are already cherished, already deeply connected. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot hold two opposing beliefs at once. If you affirm your miracle yet dwell in doubt, you delay its unfolding. If you persist in the knowing that it is done, the world has no choice but to yield. Time is an illusion and all things exist now. Your assumption, if held unwaveringly, collapses time and brings the unseen into view. The longer you entertain doubt, the longer you delay. But the moment you fully surrender to the truth of your desire's fulfillment, moment you let go of needing proof and instead live as though it is already. Because you step into the miraculous, there is no effort needed beyond this. No struggle, no striving, no pleading. Creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in potential, waiting only for your assumption to call it forth. The world is your canvas, your imagination, the brush. What you choose to see, what you choose to believe is what will be painted upon your reality. You are not bound by circumstances, by past failures, by the seeming limitations of the physical world. The only thing that limits you is your own belief, and belief is entirely within your control. Change what you believe, and the world will change to match it. So be as the one who has already received, speak as though it is already done. Move through your day with the quiet confidence of one who knows their prayer has already been answered. Let gratitude fill your heart, not as a plea, but as a natural response to the certainty of fulfillment. Your miracle is now. It is unfolding in perfect order and divine timing, in the exact way that is most natural for you. You need only to accept, to trust, to remain faithful to the vision within you. The world is responding. The unseen is becoming seen. What once seemed impossible is now inevitable. Stand firm in your knowing, hold fast to your assumption. Live in the end and let the world catch up. The promise is unfolding and your miracle is already here. The world you see is but the reflection of the world within you. It has always been so, and it will always be so. The conditions of your life, the people you meet, the circumstances you find yourself in, all of it is simply the out-picturing of your inner state. If you desire to change the world around you, there is no need to manipulate external conditions. No need to strive, no need to push or pull at reality. The only work is within. Every transformation, every miracle, every shift in experience begins first, the unseen realm of imagination. The moment you accept this, the moment you stop looking outside for confirmation and instead look within for certainty, your world must change. It is law and it is unerring. What you accept is true within, express itself. Without, It is not a question of if, it is only a question of when, and the when is determined by the intensity and persistence of your assumption. Many falter not because they do not believe, but because they do not persist. They plant the seed of their desire, but instead of letting it take root, they dig it up with doubt. They wonder when it will happen, how it will come to pass if they are truly worthy of it. But the seed does not need your interference. It only needs your trust. A farmer does not stand over his crops and demand that they grow fast. He does not pull at the roots to check if they are sprouting. He plants, he waters, and he trusts. He knows that the laws of nature are certain that the harvest is inevitable. So it is with your desires the moment you assume them to be true. The moment you dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the process has begun. There is nothing more to do but persist in that state, to refuse to be shaken by appearances, to rest in the knowing that that is. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the vision, to walk in the certainty that what you have imagined is already yours. To those who say, "But I do not see it yet," I ask, where are you looking? Are you looking to the world of form, the world of effects, to tell you what is real? Or are you looking within to the world of cause, where all things begin? The unseen is the reality, and the visible is merely its shadow. If you wish to change the shadow, you must first change the light that casts it. There's no such thing as an idle thought. Every thought you entertain, every assumption you accept, every feeling you dwell in is shaping your world. It does not matter whether you are conscious of it or not. Creation is always happening. You are always imagining something, always assuming something, always believing something. And whatever you persisted, whether wanted or unwanted, will happen. To fact, if you wish to receive your miracle, you must become conscious of what you are habitually imagining. You must take control of the inner conversation that runs ceaselessly in your mind. Are you speaking as one who has already received? Are you thinking from the end, feeding from the end, living from the end, or are you allowing old patterns of doubt, fear, and lack to dominate your inner world? You do not need to beg or plead for your desire to manifest. You do not need to convince anyone to prove anything, to seek permission from the world. All you need is to believe that it is already yours, to rest in the certainty that the unseen is just as real. If not more real than the seen, the world is fluid, malleable, shaped entirely by your consciousness. The moment you fully accept this truth, you will see the evidence of it everywhere. Some will say, "But my circumstances are too difficult. The facts are against me. The world tells me it is impossible." But what are circumstances but the reflection of past assumptions? What are facts but the crystallized beliefs of yesterday? If you continue to accept the present conditions as unchangeable, then you will remain bound by them. But the moment you withdraw your attention from appearances and fix your mind upon the unseen reality of your wish fulfilled, the outer world must conform. It may not happen in the way you expect. It may not come through the channels you anticipate, but that is not your concern. The how is never your concern. Your only task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist. In that assumption, no matter what, the world will rearrange itself in ways you cannot foresee. Doors will open where there were none before. People will appear at the right time in the right place, speaking the right words. Opportunities will arise seemingly out of nowhere. These are not accidents, not coincidences. They are the natural outworking of yourself. Function, but do not falter when the bridge of incidents begins to unfold. There may be moments when it seems as though nothing is happening, moments when circumstances appear to contradict your assumption. Do not be deceived by appearances. The delay is only an illusion. The old must fall away to make room for the new. What you see as obstacles are merely the necessary steps in the unseen process of fulfillment. If you persist, if you refuse to waver, if you remain steadfast in your knowing, then your desire must take form. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to strive. Your miracle is not something to be chased. It is something to be received. It is already yours, already complete, already done. The only requirement is that you align yourself with it, that you make it real in your imagination before it becomes real in the world. Live as though you have already received it. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude. Let your inner state be one of already having, rather than one of waiting. Waiting implies separation, and separation delays the manifestation. But the moment you accept that it is already so, the moment you move from desire to fulfillment, from longing to possession, the world must bend to reflect your new state. If you knew beyond all doubt that what you have imagined is inevitable, how would you live? How would you think? How would you speak? Would you still entertain fear? Would you still question? Would you still wait for the world to show you proof before you believed? Or would you walk with confidence with this is the secret to receiving? It is not about forcing, not about effort, not about struggle. It is about knowing. Knowing that the promise is already kept, knowing that what you have imagined is not a future possibility, but a present reality. Knowing that the unseen is just as real, if not more real than the seen. And when you know this, when you live from this state, the miracle must come. The world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match the conviction you hold within it as law. It is inevitable. It is done. There is no force outside of you that determines what you can or cannot have. The only power is within, and it is your own consciousness. Every limitation you believe in is a self-imposed one. Every obstacle you perceive is but the projection of your own inner doubts. The moment you release those doubts, the moment you choose to accept only the truth of your fulfilled desire, everything changes. The world you see is not fixed. It is fluid. A mirror responding to your assumption. So long as you continue to look to the outside world for confirmation, you remain bound by it. But the moment you turn within the moment, you claim your power as the creator of your experience, you break free. You are not here to be ruled by circumstances. You are here to rule them. You are not a victim of fate. You are its master. The only thing required of you is to accept this truth and live by it. Many will say they understand this, yet they continue to waver. They imagine their desire fulfilled, but then they question, they doubt. They check their circumstances to see if there is any evidence when they do not see immediate proof. They allow fear to creep in, their old assumptions to regain control, and so they remain stuck in the same cycle, wondering why their desire has not yet appeared. But faith does not waver. Faith does not need proof. Faith knows that what is held firmly in the mind must externalize itself in due time. The seed that is planted does not instantly bear fruit, but the process has begun. It is growing beneath the surface, unseen, but inevitable. And just as no farmer digs up his crop in impatience, no conscious creator should doubt the unfolding of the assumption. If you were to completely abandon every doubt, every worry, every thought of separation from your desire, how quickly would it manifest? The only thing that stands between you and the realization of your miracle is the persistence of your old belief. But the moment you truly let go of them, the moment you rest entirely in the certainty that your wish is already fulfilled, time collapses. And the unseen becomes seen. There is nothing to force. You do not need to chase, to beg, to struggle. You need only to embody the state of fulfillment, to carry yourself as one who already possesses that which they desire. The feeling is the secret. If you would only take on the feeling of already having already been already experiencing that which you seek, the world would rush to make it so. But so many hold themselves back, they hesitate to fully step into the assumption of their wish fulfilled because they are still bound by the evidence of their senses. They are still conditioned by past experiences, by the limitations they have accepted as real. But what is real? Is it what the world shows you now? A reflection of past states of consciousness? Or is it what you claim within, that which you assume and persist in, regardless of appearances? To receive your miracle, you must shift your sense of reality. You must no longer see your desire as something distant, something that may or may not happen, something you must wait for. You must see it as now. You must know that the moment you accept it in consciousness, it is. Don't. This is not mere wishful thinking. This is not fantasy. This is the fundamental nature of reality. Everything in this world, everything you have ever experienced was once only a thought. The house you live in, the clothes you wear, the relationships you have, the very life you are living, all of it was once unseen, merely an idea, an assumption that became form. And if you examine your own life, you will see that this has always been true. The moment you fully accept something as true, the world shifts to match it. This has always been the case whether you were conscious of it or not, but now knowing this truth, you can use it deliberately. You can choose in every moment to dwell in the reality you prefer. Your miracle does not require effort. It does not require struggle. It requires surrender, the complete and total acceptance that it is already done. When you reach this state, there is no more questioning, no more seeking, no more. There is only certainty, a deep and unshakable, knowing that what you have imagined is real and that the world must reflect it. And when you arrive at this, knowing you will see it happen, you will watch as the world bends to meet you. The people, the circumstances, the opportunities, all of it will arrange itself perfectly. You will look back and realize that nothing was ever out of place, that everything was unfolding precisely as it needed to. Even what once seemed like obstacles will be revealed as stepping stones, necessary movements on the path to your fulfillment. Do not fear the unfolding. Do not resist the process. Your only job is to remain faithful to the vision, to persist in the knowing that your desire is already yours. It does not matter if the world has not yet shown you proof. It does not matter if appearance is contradicted. Those who receive are those who persist in their knowing, despite all else. Think now of the thing you desire most. See it in your mind, not as something distant, not as something hoped for, but as something already here. How does it feel to have it? How does it feel to know it is yours? Dwell in that feeling. Let it take root within you. Let it become your natural state. Carry yourself as the one who already has it. Speak as though it is already done. Think from the place of fulfillment, and as you do, reality will. The unseen will become seen. The promise will unfold before your very eyes. There is nothing more to do. There is nothing more to wait for. The time is now. The power is within you. The miracle is already here. All that remains is for you to accept it. You have been told that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This is not a poetic statement. It is the foundation of creation. Faith is not hoping that something will happen in the future. It is knowing beyond all doubt that it is already so. It is not a desperate wish, nor is it blind optimism. Faith is the quiet, unwavering conviction that what you have conceived in your imagination is already a reality. And yet many falter because they allow the outer world to dictate their beliefs. They look around and see only what has been, only the reflections of past states of consciousness. They measure their progress by what their senses tell them, instead of standing firm in what they know to be true within. But the outer world is always a step behind. It is always the product of a previous assumption. If you wish to change it, you cannot wait for confirmation from it. You must believe before you see, not after. Your imagination is the blueprint of reality. Every great achievement, every so-called miracle, every breakthrough has first been imagined before it became visible. The law is simple. Assume the feeling of your wish. Assist in that assumption and the world must conform. It is not a question of if, it is only a question of when. But the moment you entertain doubt, the moment you waver, you delay your manifestation. When you question, when you wonder if it is really working, when you look to the world for validation, you are stepping out of the state of fulfillment and back into the state of lack in the world. Being nothing more than a mirror reflects that lack back to you. If you would hold to your assumption, if you would refuse to be moved by appearances, if you would dwell only in the feeling of already having, already being, already experiencing, your desire would take form with absolute certainty. It is law, and it does not fail. The mistake so many make is thinking they must struggle. They must work hard. They must prove themselves worthy of their desires. But the truth is far simpler. You do not perceive what you work for. You receive what you. 2. The one who effortlessly assumes abundance will always have it. The one who assumes struggle will always struggle. The one who assumes love will always find it. The one who assumes rejection will always encounter. It is never about effort. It is about the state you occupy. If you would simply dwell in the state of your wish fulfilled, if you would make it real in your imagination and feel it deeply as though it were already here, the world would have no choice but to make it so. Nothing is denied to the one who persists. Nothing is impossible for the one who refuses to accept the limitations imposed by the senses. The moment you decide to see with the eyes of faith instead of the eyes of fear, the moment you choose to believe in the unseen more than you believe in what is currently visible, you will step into the miraculous, and do not think that this applies only to some and not to others. The law is universal. It does not favor one person over another. It is as impartial as the law of gravity. It does not ask whether you are deserving, whether you have worked hard enough, whether you have waited long enough. It simply responds to your assumption. If you believe that miracles are rare, they will be rare for you. If you believe that what you want is difficult to attain, it will be difficult. If you believe that you must struggle and strive to achieve anything, that will be your experience. But if you believe that the unseen is just as real as the seen, if you accept that your desires are already fulfilled the moment you claim them, then the world must conform to this knowing. Your work is not to manipulate circumstances. It is not to force things into place. Your only work is within to assume, to believe, to feel, and to persist. The how does not matter. The when does not matter. The only thing that matters is your certainty. And what does it mean to be certain? It means you no longer ask, you no longer wonder, you no longer question, you rest in the knowing that it is done. You carry yourself as the one who already has it. You feel the relief, the gratitude, the joy, as though it were already here. And when you do, this, time collapses and the unseen becomes seen. But so many get caught in trap of waiting. They tell themselves that they will believe once they see the first signs, that they will feel grateful once they receive. But this is not the way of creation. You must feel now. You must assume now, and if you do, if you truly live from the end, if you refuse to entertain anything that contradicts your desire, you will see the world transform before you. The doors that once seemed closed will open effortlessly. The obstacles that once stood in your way will dissolve. The opportunities you once thought were impossible will appear as if by magic. But it is not magic. It is simply the outpicturing of your own state of consciousness. This is the secret that has been known by all who have ever achieved the seemingly impossible. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is not chance. It is law, and the law is as simple as this. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, persist in that feeling, and it must become your reality. It is already done. The moment you accepted your desire and imagination, it was finished. Your only task now is to remain faithful to this truth. Do not waver. Do not allow appearances to deceive you. Do not let doubt take. Simply know that it is done and let the world prove it to you. And when the world does, when you look around and see the evidence of what you once only held in imagination, you will realize that you have always had the power. You will understand that creation is finished, that all things already exist, and that you need only to align yourself with that which you seek. So walk as the one who already has it. Speak as the one who already knows. Think from the place of fulfillment, and as you do, watch as the miracle unfolds before your very eyes. It is inevitable, it is low, it is done. You are the cause and the world is the effect. The moment you truly grasp this, the moment you understand that nothing comes into your experience except through your own assumption, you will no longer be at the mercy of circumstances. You will no longer wait. You will no longer doubt, and you will no longer question. You will simply know. And in that knowing you will rest. You will move through the world with a quiet confidence and inner stillness that is unshaken by appearances. You will cease looking for signs, for you will understand that signs follow. They do not proceed. You will no longer ask how, for you will understand that the how is not your concern. The bridge of incidents will unfold in its own perfect way, and all you must do is remain faithful to the state of fulfillment. But so many cannot let go. They hold tightly to their old assumptions, clinging to the belief that they must struggle, that they must earn, that they must prove themselves worthy. And as long as they believe this, the world will reflect it. It is not that the universe withholds it, it is that they have not yet claimed what is already theirs. Nothing is being kept from you. There is no force that decides whether or not you receive. The only thing that determines what you experience. Persist in assuming, and the moment you assume something different, the moment you choose to occupy a new state, the world must shift to match it. Some will say, but I have imagined my wish fulfilled, and yet I see no change. But to this I ask, have you truly persisted? Have you truly remained faithful? Or have you allowed doubt to creep in? Have you, in moments of frustration, slipped back into the old state? Have you entertained the thought, even for a moment, that maybe it is not working for? If you have done so, you have delayed your manifestation. The law does not fail, but it demands unwavering persistence. It demands that you hold to your assumption, no matter what the outer world shows you. It demands that you refuse to be moved by anything except the truth you have accepted within. And if you would do this, if you would stand firm in your knowing, if you would dwell only in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you would see the evidence unfold before you. You would witness the outer world rearrange itself to reflect your inner conviction. But the waiting mind asks when. The doubting mind asks how. The fearful mind asks what if. And each of these questions only serves to reinforce the idea that your desire is not yet yours. Each moment spent in waiting is a moment spent in lack. Each moment spent in doubt is a moment spent in separation from your miracle. You must let go of time. You must let go of process. You must let go of every thought that suggests that your desire is something far away, something uncertain, something that requires effort. It is already done. It is already complete. It is already here. And when you fully accept this, when you no longer look to the world to confirm it, but instead move through life as though it is already so, you will see how swiftly reality bends to meet you. The miracle is not in the manifestation itself. It is in the moment you shift your consciousness to accept it as already real. The manifestation is merely the inevitable result of that shift. But those who dwell in fear will see reasons to fear. Those who dwell in doubt will find reasons to doubt. Those who expect difficulty will encounter obstacles at every turn. The world does not test you. It only gives you back what you are conscious of being. If you wish to see change, then change within. Assume a new state, occupy a new consciousness, feel a new feeling. And as you do, the world will mirror it back to you with precision. It cannot do otherwise. This is why struggle is unnecessary. This is why effort is futile. The moment you accept that you are already the person you wish to be, the world will confirm it. The moment you move from wanting to having, from seeking to knowing, from hoping to certainty, the thing you desire will come to you effortlessly. But you must make a firm decision. You must choose once and for all to live from the end. You must decide that your wish is not something you will one day experience, but something that is yours now. And once you have made this decision, you must refuse to entertain anything that contradicts it. Do not speak of delay. Do not dwell in frustration. Do not look to the world for validation. Simply assume, feel, and persist. Walk through life with a quiet assurance that what you have claimed within will soon be visible without, and when it happens, when you see it unfold before you, you will not be surprised. You will not be in awe. You will not marvel at how it came to be. You will simply nod in quiet knowing, for you will understand that it could not have been otherwise. The world is responding to you now. The process has already begun. The only question is, will you persist? Will you refuse to waver? Will you stand in your conviction no matter what appears before you? For if you do, if you hold fast to your assumption with absolute certainty, then nothing in the world can keep your miracle from you. It is already yours. It has always been yours, and the moment you fully accept this truth, it will be made manifest. You must remember that creation is finished. Nothing is being formed in the future. It already exists in its entirety, waiting only for you to step into the awareness of its reality. The only thing that separates you from your desire is the belief that you are separate from it. The moment you accept that it is already yours, the illusion of time collapses and the world moves to bring it into your experience. The mind, conditioned by the senses, struggles to grasp this truth. It wants evidence, it wants proof. It wants the world to change before it believes. But this is not how creation works. You must first believe, you must first accept. You must first assume the outer world is always secondary, always a reflection, always an effect. The cause is within you, and it has always been within you. Think not of your miracle as something far away, something that is coming to you. Think of it as something already here, something already yours, something you are now aligning with. The moment you shift your perspective in this way, the waiting ceases and the receiving begins. You have never lacked anything. You have only ever lacked awareness of what is already yours. The moment you recognize that you and your desire are one, that you are not separate from it, that you do not need to earn it, fight for it, or struggle to attain it, the world will move in ways beyond logic to deliver it into your hands. The mind may resist this. It may try to pull you back into old assumptions, old fears, old doubts, but you must hold fast. You must persist. You must remind yourself, moment by moment, that you are already the person you wish to be, that you already have what you seek, that the world is merely catching up to your new state of. And when you feel the urge to check, when you feel the impulse to look for proof, remind yourself that the proof is within you. The outer world will only ever reflect what you have accepted within. If you wish to see change, you must first embody that change. Internally, if you wish to experience a miracle, you must first believe in its inevitability. Nothing in the world is more powerful than your assumption. No obstacle, no circumstance, no history, no so-called limitation can override the simple law that what you assume to be true will be made. The only thing that delays your miracle is the wavering mind, the divided attention, the unwillingness to fully commit to the reality you desire. You do not need to convince anyone. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to seek validation from the world. The moment you claim your desire is already fulfilled, the moment you decide that it is done, you have set a process into motion that cannot be stopped unless you choose to stop it, and so you must live. In the end, you must embody the feeling of already. You must speak as though it is done, act as though it is done. Move through life with the quiet certainty that it is done, and as you do, the world will shift to match your conviction, but many hesitate. They allow themselves to be swayed by appearances. They allow the outer world to dictate their inner state, but this is not how the law works. The world does not change. First you do, and when you do, when you assume your desired reality as your present reality, the world must reflect it. There is nothing complicated about that. There is no force outside of you deciding whether or not you are worthy. There is no external judge determining what you can or cannot have. There is only your assumption, your belief, your conviction. You are already that which you see. The moment you stop looking outside yourself, the moment you stop waiting for signs, the moment you decide to see yourself as already in possession of your desire, the world will confirm it. And when it happens, when your assumption hardens into fact, you will realize that it was never about the manifestation itself. It was always about you. It was always about your ability to hold faith in the unseen, to persist in the face of doubt, to claim what was already yours. The greatest barrier to receiving is the illusion of waiting. The belief that you must wait implies that what you desire is separate from you, that it is not yet yours. But the truth is that it has always been yours, and the only thing that can keep it at a distance is the assumption that it is distant. You must assume now, you must feel now. You must walk in the reality of your fulfilled desire now. And when you do, the world must bow to your assumption. And so the question remains, will you persist? Will you hold firm in your knowing? Will you refuse to be moved by appearances, by time, by the illusion of separation? For if you do, your miracle will not be something hoped for. It will be something experienced. It will be something lived. It will be something undeniable. The choice has always been yours. It will always be yours. And the moment you choose to accept your desire as already fulfilled, the world will make it so. And so the truth remains unchanged. You are the creator of your experience, the master of your reality, the operant power in your world. Nothing stands between you and the fulfillment of your desires, except the belief that something does. The moment you cast aside doubt, the moment you cease looking to the outer world for validation, the moment you claim your miracle is already yours, it must come to pass. There is no waiting. There is no struggle. There is no force outside of you that must grant you permission. You are not bound by circumstances, by history, or by the opinions of others. The only thing that determines what you experience is what you assume to be true, and so will you persist? Will you hold to the reality of your wish fulfilled, even when the world suggests otherwise? Will you choose in every moment to live from the end, to embody the feeling of already having? For if you do, there is no power in existence that can keep your miracle from you. The promise is unfolding. The unseen is becoming seen. That which was once only imagined is now making its way into form. Walking confidence and certainty and quiet, knowing for it is done. It has always been done. And the moment you accept this fully, the world will rush to show you what has always been yours.